371 species in genus Magnolia. April 4th. Magnolia, Magnolia, the timeless blossom, represents April 4th. Magnolia symbolizes dignity and resilience. You have a graceful yet strong personality, always carrying yourself with poise. Like this tree, you leave a lasting impression with your timeless charm. What is Magnolia? From the moment I encountered the enchanting beauty of a magnolia tree, I was captivated by its allure. The Magnolia, a genus belong to the Magnoliaceae family, comprising 371 flowering plant species, holds a special place in my heart and garden. As I delve into the world of magnolias, I am awestruck by the sheer diversity within this genus, each species weaving its unique tapestry into the botanical landscape. Magnolias are not just trees, they are living artifacts, an ancient genus that predates the evolution of bees. Theories suggest that these majestic trees evolved to entice pollination by beetles. Fossilized specimens of Magnolia acuminata date back 20 million years, with identifiable Magnoliaceae fossils tracing back 95 million years. Magnolias, like Amberella and Nymphea, share the ancestral trait of undifferentiated perianth parts called tepals. What does magnolia flower look like? A symphony of fragrance and color. The allure of magnolias lies in their large, fragrant flowers, which unfold in a mesmerizing display of bowl or star shapes, painted in hues of white, pink, purple, green, or yellow. Deciduous magnolias often bloom before spring leaves emerge, creating a breathtaking prelude to the season. Their cone-like fruits, resembling nature's ornaments, grace the autumn landscape. The anatomy unveiled. Delving into the anatomy of magnolia flowers reveals a fascinating world. The undifferentiated perianth, boasting 9 to 15 tepals and multiple whorls, surrounds hermaphroditic flowers with adnate carpels and stamens arranged spirally. The toughness of carpels safeguards against pollinating beetles, showcasing nature's ingenious design. Fruit dehiscence occurs along the dorsal sutures, with monocolpate pollen and polygonum-type embryonic development. How to care for magnolia. Magnolia trees, a testament to patience. My journey with magnolia trees has been a lesson in patience and reward. These iconic trees, known for their large, leathery leaves and early spring blossoms, epitomize the grace of the South. Whether evergreen or deciduous, magnolias unveil their fragrant flowers, a testament to the gardener's commitment to nurturing these botanical wonders. Caring for magnolia trees, a gentle touch. Cultivating magnolias is not a daunting task. These trees, surprisingly tolerant of shade, thrive in well-drained soil with a touch of acidity. While they may not fancy wet feet, a spring feeding of slow-release fertilizer ensures their flourishing. Adjusting soil pH with peat moss or acidic mulch caters to their needs, ensuring a vibrant display of blossoms. See full list at monsteraholic.com. Magnolia care, nurturing elegance. Fungal vigilance. While magnolias enchant with their beauty, they are susceptible to fungal diseases, especially in wet, shady, and humid conditions. Vigilant pruning to remove diseased branches, preventive fungicide sprays, and enhancing air circulation are crucial measures for disease prevention. Magnolia scale management. The magnolia scale, a sap-sucking insect, poses a threat to these majestic trees. Regular inspection and horticultural oil applications during the dormant season aid in controlling scale infestations, ensuring the tree's health. Frost protection. In regions with late spring frosts, magnolia buds may face a threat. Applying a layer of mulch in late fall, wrapping the tree in burlap, or covering it with frost cloth during frost warnings can protect delicate buds from potential damage. Pruning with precision. Pruning magnolias requires precision to maintain their natural form and promote healthy growth. Late winter to early spring, before the onset of new growth, is an ideal time for pruning. Removing dead or crossing branches, shaping the canopy, and maintaining an open structure are key principles. Preserving magnolia magic. Magnolias in art and culture. Beyond their botanical significance, magnolias have etched their presence in art, literature, and culture. From ancient Chinese paintings depicting their symbolic beauty to modern poetry invoking their timeless elegance, magnolias transcend the realms of horticulture. becoming muses for creative minds. Magnolia festivals, celebrating nature's grandeur. Around the world, magnolia festivals pay homage to these majestic trees. These events bring communities together to celebrate the splendor of magnolias, showcasing diverse species and fostering a deeper appreciation for these botanical treasures. Magnolia preservation efforts. With climate change impacting ecosystems, preserving magnolia diversity is crucial. Botanical gardens, arboretums, and conservation organizations play a pivotal role in safeguarding rare and endangered magnolia species, ensuring their legacy for future generations. FAQs. When do magnolias bloom? Magnolias bloom in the spring, and it's my favorite sight. Depending on the specific variety and the region, they can start blooming as early as March, and some continue through June. My neighbor has this gorgeous saucer magnolia, and I swear, those huge pink blooms were the highlight of my early spring last year. How to plant magnolia seeds. While I've never personally planted magnolia seeds, I hear it's a bit of a process. First, you gotta collect the bright red seeds from the pods after they open in the fall. They have this fleshy coating that needs to be removed, and then some folks say you should even let them sit for a few days before planting. It seems like a fun project for someone with a green thumb. Do magnolia trees lose their leaves? It depends on whether you have an evergreen or a deciduous magnolia. I have a stunning southern magnolia down the street, and its big, glossy leaves stay vibrant year-round. But there are other kinds that lose their leaves every fall. It's a little sad for a while, but then those bare branches pave the way for the amazing floral show in the spring. Are magnolia trees evergreen? Some magnolias are evergreen, others are deciduous. The southern magnolia, like the one in my neighborhood, is a classic example of an evergreen magnolia. Those big, beautiful green leaves stay on the tree all year. But there are also types that lose their leaves during the colder months. What does magnolia smell like? Oh, the smell of magnolia is heavenly. Imagine a sweet, citrusy scent with just a hint of spice. It's intoxicating. Some have a stronger, lemony scent, while others are softer and more floral. I always stop and take a deep breath whenever I pass a magnolia tree in full bloom. What do magnolias represent? For me, magnolias have always represented a sense of strength and grace. Their blooms are bold and beautiful, but there's something delicate about them too. In many cultures, magnolias symbolize nobility, perseverance, and a love of nature. Are magnolia flowers edible? Believe it or not, some parts of magnolia flowers are edible. The petals can actually be pickled or added to salads for a unique citrusy flavor. I've never been brave enough to try it myself, but I hear it's a special treat. What do magnolias symbolize? Magnolias are rich in symbolism. To me, they represent the beauty and resilience of nature, reminding me of the cyclical nature of life. Across different cultures, they also symbolize purity, dignity, and a connection to the feminine spirit. Do deer eat magnolia trees? I've been lucky that deer haven't bothered the magnolia trees around me, but apparently, they can sometimes be a target. Young magnolia trees seem particularly vulnerable. Luckily, there are ways to deter deer, like using repellents or putting up protective fencing. How much is a magnolia tree? The price of a magnolia tree depends a lot on the variety, size, and where you buy it. Smaller, younger trees are more affordable, while a fully mature specimen can be surprisingly expensive. I'd say you could expect to spend anywhere from around $50 to hundreds of dollars. Are magnolia seeds edible? While I wouldn't suggest snacking on whole magnolia seeds, the fleshy red coating around them, called the aril, is apparently edible. Some say it tastes a bit spicy and peppery. However, it's important to be careful, as the seeds themselves can be toxic to humans. How to prune magnolia tree. Pruning a magnolia requires a bit of care. I always prune mine right after it blooms, as it heals best at this time. The key is to focus on removing any dead or crossing branches while preserving the natural shape of the tree. If you're unsure, it's always a good idea to get advice from a local arborist. Can you root magnolia cuttings in water? While it's possible to root magnolia cuttings in water, I've heard it has a low success rate. It's better to use a rooting hormone and a well-draining soil mix. If you really want to try it, choose semi-ripe cuttings taken in the summer for the best chance. How long do magnolia trees bloom? Sadly, the bloom time of magnolias is relatively short and varies depending on the variety. Some only have a magnificent display for a couple of weeks, while others continue blooming sporadically throughout the summer. Each bloom itself only lasts a few days, so you have to savor them while you can. What to plant under magnolia tree? Since magnolias have shallow roots, I find it best to pick plants that like shade and don't need a lot of root space. Hostas, ferns, and impatiens are some of my favorites. They add beautiful color and texture under the canopy of the magnolia tree. When do magnolias bloom in Florida? In Florida, magnolias generally start blooming in late winter or early spring and can continue throughout the seasons depending on the species. You'll see some of the earliest blooms in February and March. When do magnolias bloom in Georgia? The peak magnolia season in Georgia is in the spring, usually sometime between March and May. The exact timing varies depending on the specific magnolia variety and the weather conditions that year. When to fertilize magnolia trees? I usually give my magnolia trees a boost of fertilizer in late spring, right after they finish blooming. This helps fuel their growth for the rest of the year. However, young trees might benefit from an additional light feeding in the fall. Can goats eat magnolia leaves? While magnolia leaves are generally not considered toxic to goats, they're also not a preferred food source. Goats are more likely to munch on grasses and other plants that are easier to digest. Can you burn magnolia wood? Magnolia wood can be burned, but it's not the best choice for firewood. It tends to be quite dense, so it can be harder to ignite. On top of that, it may produce a lot of smoke. If you do decide to burn magnolia wood, it's best to mix it with other types of firewood. Compare magnolia versus dogwood. In my garden, the magnolia's large, fragrant blooms stand out, but the dogwood's delicate flowers and vibrant autumn colors offer a subtler, year-round charm. The dogwood has a more refined, understated elegance compared to the bold, showy presence of the magnolia. Magnolia versus tulip tree. The tulip tree's unique, tulip-shaped flowers give it a distinct personality, but I find the magnolia's classic, fragrant blossoms to be more enchanting and timeless. While the tulip tree grows quickly and offers impressive height, the magnolia's slow, steady growth and enduring beauty hold a special place in my heart. Magnolia versus cherry blossom. Cherry blossoms bring a fleeting beauty in early spring, their delicate petals falling like confetti, whereas the magnolia's blooms last longer and have a richer fragrance. I appreciate the cherry blossom's brief, spectacular display, but the magnolia's enduring elegance and scent make it my go-to choice for a more lasting floral impact. Magnolia versus gardenia. Gardenias offer an intense, sweet fragrance and glossy foliage, but I prefer the magnolia's more subtle scent and its grand, dramatic blooms. The gardenia's smaller size makes it less imposing, but the magnolia's majestic presence and larger blossoms add a touch of grandeur to my garden. Magnolia versus phoenix. The phoenix plant, with its strikingly spiky leaves and vibrant blooms, contrasts sharply with the magnolia's classic and smooth elegance. While the phoenix brings a bold, exotic touch, I find the magnolia's timeless grace and refined beauty to be more aligned with my garden's aesthetic. Magnolia versus ginebra. Ginebra's unique, almost exotic appearance is intriguing, but the magnolia's familiar, grand blooms and soothing fragrance resonate more deeply with me. The ginebra has a certain flair, but the magnolia's classic beauty and comfort make it a more enduring favorite in my garden. Magnolia versus Northport. Northport's vibrant, eye-catching flowers are undeniably striking, but they often seem to compete with, rather than complement, the magnolia's subtle elegance. I value the magnolia's ability to blend gracefully into my garden, whereas Northport's bold presence can sometimes overshadow the more understated beauty of the magnolia. Magnolia versus rhododendron. Rhododendrons provide lush, evergreen foliage and striking clusters of flowers, but the magnolia's large, fragrant blooms and elegant structure offer a more timeless appeal. The rhododendron's dense growth can be overwhelming, while the magnolia's refined presence adds a classic touch to my garden. Magnolia versus calliope. Calliope's vibrant, colorful flowers are delightful, but I find the magnolia's classic white blooms and soothing fragrance to be more sophisticated and enduring. The calliope adds a burst of color, but the magnolia's elegant simplicity and lasting beauty make it my preferred choice. Magnolia versus Moralco. Moralco's striking, unusual blooms are eye-catching, but I'm drawn to the magnolia's more traditional, graceful flowers, and their captivating scent. While Morocco offers a unique flair, the magnolia's timeless appeal and comforting fragrance hold a special place in my heart. Magnolia versus rubber tree. The rubber tree's glossy leaves and robust growth are impressive, but I find the magnolia's grand, fragrant blossoms to be more captivating and aesthetically pleasing. The rubber tree's foliage is appealing, yet the magnolia's classic beauty and scent offer a more refined touch to my garden. Closing thoughts, magnolias as timeless icons. As I continue to nurture my magnolia garden, I find solace in the timeless elegance these trees exude. From their ancient origins to the diverse species that grace landscapes worldwide, magnolias are more than botanical wonders. They are storytellers, weaving tales of resilience, beauty, and the eternal cycle of nature. Embracing the elegance of magnolia has enriched my life, inviting me to witness the unfolding chapters of their enchanting saga.